That's good. Good morning! Good morning, everyone. My name's John Wilson. I'm spewing. Rest assured, I was a big dick swinger when I was a young man in the thing. I used to have 10 inches in a wrinkle. Now I've got 10 wrinkles in an inch. But if you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile.
10 inches in a wrinkle, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Wilson.
Thank you. It's a lovely welcome. Good morning, everyone, and thanks very much for the invite. And it's a real pleasure to come down and talk to small and discreet groups like this. I get a real kick out of this, far more than addressing big monster crowds. And I've done quite a lot of those in my life. I spoke in Canberra. I was asked to go down there, and I really didn't want to. I was on a boat, and it was a real problem for me to make arrangements, but I did because I thought it was important enough to do so. But I've organised big stoppages, 50,000, 30,000, 20,000 people down in Canberra and elsewhere. I mean, at Parliament House, Barimba Place in Canberra, and so on. So I've been mobilising people for most of my life, mobilising them and getting them into a fighting spirit to protect their interests. Okay. One of the things that I've noticed in recent years is that Australians are no longer making decisions that are in their best interest. They've just forgotten how to do it. They don't know what's in their best interest. They're making decisions that benefit others who hate their guts. Okay, our enemy doesn't just want power, doesn't just want money and corruption. They despise us. They despise us. You need to understand that. You need to understand it. I want to go through just a couple of things, and I'll say this because I just want everyone to know that, look, I've been working full-time doing nothing else for 7 years. I'm a wealthy man. I do invest in gold, silver, crypto, other stuff, right? That's how I make me money, and I've done very good at it. Very good at it, right? I don't take 1 cent off the government. Nothing. Their Medicare, they can stick that up their arse. I take no pensions, nothing. My kids, both educated at Brisbane Boys Grammar, Brisbane Girls Grammar, cost me $250,000. I mean, I take nothing for the government because I despise the government. I despise them, and I don't want anything to do with it. I don't care whether it's easy money or not. I don't want their stinking money. Okay? I'll never try to sell anything to you. No merchandise. I don't want any money off you. I'll never try and sell you anything. I don't want any donations. Not interested. I don't need it. If you've got money to donate, go and give it to someone else. Don't flash it to me, mate. I don't need it. I'm serious. So I'm never going to ask for donations. I'm not reliant upon government money. I'm never going to ever try to sell you any merchandise. I'm never going to ever run for any public office, ever. I mean, I live on a nice boat. I want to go back to fishing and crabbing and drinking homemade beer with me Aborigine mates over in Stradbroke Island. That's what I want to do. Okay. I'm never going to try and seek a staffer's job. I don't want anything off anyone. Okay. And what that means is I can speak my mind. I can speak my mind. Okay. And when I speak to you here today, I'm calling it straight from the heart, mate. You're hearing it raw. You're hearing it unplugged. And the other thing I'll say is that I'm a very confrontational person, if you know what I mean. I'm not a person, I speak very bluntly, okay? I can't help that. I'm a fully initiated communist. I'm the last of them. All the rest of the communists after me are all pink pussy hat wearing trannies. That's what they are. To my generation, mate, we were the proletariat, mate. We were the cream. of the working class, okay? That's what we were, okay? Now, I'm no longer a communist, I'm their sworn enemy. There's no left politics in me anymore, mate, whatsoever. But that doesn't mean that I'm ashamed of who I am, where I've been and what I've done. I mean, I love tyranny. I love tyranny, as long as I'm the tyrant. If I'm the tyrant, mate, then man, oh man. And when I was the tyrant, I used to use my power. I had enormous power, enormous industrial power and political power, okay? I used to use my power to smash the deep state of Australia. They hated my guts. They hated me. When I left Canberra, when I left the unions and left Canberra, my wife, I've been married over 30 years with a beautiful Japanese wife, having our first baby, and I said, look, I'm going to leave Canberra, but, you know, I said, I've got to get a job, and so I put the word out amongst the deep state and said, look, I've got to get a job, would you be prepared to write me a reference? Well, bugger me dead, they were queuing up around the corner, queuing up around Supreme Court judges, chief magistrates, Secretary, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and on it went. They said, we will give you anything you want to get you out of town. So I have a portfolio of these beautiful references attesting to what sort of a magnificent person I am from the deep state. From the deep state. How's that? How's that? Don't worry, I know how to game the system. I know how to game the system. Look, I want to talk about Queenslanders if I can. Okay, Queenslanders. You know, we have been the most maligned and picked on group of people in the history of this country. We've been called rednecks, pissants, you know, dumbos, you know, stupid, all this stuff. Mate, they used to ram it down our throat, okay? And none of us up here could give a shit. It was like water off a duck's back. It was of no consequence to us up here in Queensland. If there's going to be a group of people that are going to change this nation and crack this egg, it's going to be Queensland. I'm telling you. And that's not to say and belittle the efforts of our brothers and sisters Australia-wide. That's not to say that. I mean, there's a magnificent efforts being put in, and Western Australia and Victoria and so on. But it's going to be Queensland that's going to crack this open. Okay, I can see it. The second thing I want to say is the Gold Coast down here. There's two districts in Queensland that I believe are head and shoulders above all the rest when it comes to commitment and organising and so on. It's the Sunshine Coast up here. There is people up in the Sunshine Coast which are just magnificent, their efforts, and also here in the Gold Coast. Yep. You guys down here, mate, are exceptional. And I know that you've had a few people that have tried to upset the unity down here, and you've been a bit of infighting. Don't let that bother you. But keep going, because you guys down here are badly needed. Okay. The other thing I want to say is that Australians in general, okay, we box well and truly above our weight, and we've done things here, right? Well and truly above our weight division. I mean, in Queensland, for an example, do you know that we are the only state in this country's history that have ever had a state member of parliament who was a communist? Do you know that? 1930s, Fred Patterson. His daughter that lives around the corner from me in Mitchelton in Brisbane. Okay, that's where my family home is. I live on a boat, they're a family home. But Fred Patterson's family, his daughter and that, live around the corner from me in Mitchelton. But unfortunately, Jeff Wilson, the former health minister, that grub, who used to be a legal officer for my union, he's married to one of them, unfortunately. And I mean, he's just a dog. He's a dog. But these are the very unusual things about Queensland. Like I say, don't underestimate us. That we will do things up here which are very, very radical. Okay, if need be. The other thing, I mean, did you know that, as an Australian, do you know that John F. Kennedy, when he was a naval skipper in World War II, he had a torpedo boat. I don't know the model and the make, but a torpedo boat, and he crashed it. Okay, he had a military encounter, and his boat crashed, and he sunk it. There was JFK and 11 of his crew. They swam to an island. There was no shade, no water, no food, so they had to swim to a second island. Okay, where there was a bit of coconut trees and a little bit of wood. So they stayed there. But then John F. Kennedy, being a champion university swimmer, then said, look, we got to get rescued here. So he personally said, you stay here, I'll swim to the third island, where there was some, Solomon Islands. This is over in the Solomon Islands, okay, World War II. And he swam over there, and some of the locals, Solomon Islanders, who like the Americans, they said, look, we'll help you, but we can't take you out in our canoes because we'll get spotted and they'll machine gun us and all that. So JFK got his knife out and cut a message into a coconut and gave it to the islanders, because the islanders knew where there was some coast watchers. And off they went. They paddled out there, and next day they came back and said, yeah, the message has been delivered, and they've given us this written note to get hand back to you. And the note basically said, look, yeah, we got your message, we're going to come and rescue you. But John F. Kennedy and his crew of 11 were rescued. They were rescued by a group of Australians. They were part of what they call the Coast Watchers, and the subdivision of that was the Z Force. Z Force were Australian commandos, and they rescued John F. Kennedy and his crew. So if it wasn't for Australians, the whole history of John F. K and the Kennedy clan, all that would have died in the 1940s, would have been finished, except for the Australians. Have you ever seen that photo, for those that are a little bit more closely following work? You ever seen that photo where you see JFK Jr. side on with his hand there, no shirt on, and he's got this tattoo on his arm? Have you ever seen that one? And it's a big Z with a dagger through it. Okay, you seen that photo, that tattoo? Well, that tattoo is the Australian Z Force. That's what I recommend. Why would John F. Kennedy Jr. have this tattoo, which is an Australian commando insignia? Why?
Because he wouldn't have got born otherwise.
Sorry?
He wouldn't have got born otherwise.
That's right, that's right. So Australians roll in history in big conflicts. Don't ever doubt our capacity for impact. We box above our weight, so don't ever look down on the ground, mate. Look big, okay? And Queenslanders, out of all the Australians, are the exception again, okay? And this little pocket down here, mate, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, you guys, you are the working class proletariat. You are the cream, okay? And I really mean that. I mean, we need you guys fully on board. We're fighting a spiritual war here. A spiritual war. This is an ugly, ancient war that we are fighting. It's manifested. A lot of people think it's new. It's not. It's not. This has been going on for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Now, thousands of years. I'm not that old, I'm sorry. Look, the Great Awakening, let's talk briefly about that. The way I see it, look, can I say this? I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's of no consequence to me whether you believe one word I'm saying. I mean that. Everything I'm saying and recording and capturing and uploading, all of my work is to design, it's designed to try and invigorate and organise Australians to win this war. But personally, the reason why I'm doing all of this is for my grandchildren. I've downloaded, after I've got permanently banned from Facebook, I downloaded all, a couple of 100 gigabyte of stuff and all that. I've got all that captured. That is a gift to my grandchildren. I'm going to say to my grandchildren, my children have no idea what's going on. No, neither does my wife. I haven't lived with my wife and children for 7 years. 7 years. And the reason for that is that at one stage I didn't think we may not win. And I thought, look, if they're going to kill me and arrest me and jail me and do it, I don't want my wife and kids involved. So I left my home. I told my wife to tell everyone that we're divorced, and we just catch up when we can. I mean, this has taken a huge toll on me. I am not the same man that I was 7 or 8 years ago when I first got involved in this. I am not the same man, I can tell you. I have been shocked to my very core what I've now borne witness to, and I believe I've only borne witness to a fraction of what's out there, okay? So, this Great Awakening, I think there's two sides to it, if I can explain it this way. Look, there's a Great Awakening as to what the real picture of the world is, what's really driving the world, okay? All of the deceit, the deceptions, and you know, all of the layer upon layer upon layer of lies that we're fed, okay? So much so that none of us have really got a clue about what the real truth is. And that's why I say I'm not a truther. I'm not a truther. And people go, oh, why not? Because I don't know what the truth is. I don't know. I mean, I'm gradually putting pieces together. I'm gradually working things out, but it's a journey. It's a journey. It's not an arrival point, okay? And the enormity of it all is so enormous, okay? So I'm not going to stand in front of anyone and say, yeah, John Wilson, he's a smart guy, he's a truther, because I'm not. I'm like you guys, mate. I've got all of my inherent biases and all of those you know, things that I've got to unlearn and everything else that we've all got to go through. Okay, so I'm not a truther. I'm on a journey with a lot of other people who are seeking the truth, okay, about what's happened and what the real state of the world is. But the other half of this Great Awakening, the other half, and this is my opinion, this is what I've derived out of it, it's an internal thing. It's we're starting to discover who we really are, who we really are, what our capabilities really are. I mean, we are not useless eaters. We are divine creatures. We are not flesh and blood. You know, we have, we're an energetic, made of water and electricity and all this other stuff. So we're finding out and discovering who we really are and what we're capable of, what our real history is. And this is the other half of this Great Awakening, because, like I said, I'm not the same man that I was 7 or 8 years ago, because I've discovered so much about my own self, who I am, okay, and that's been a bit of an eye-opener. I have people come up to me and say, oh, these stinking Jews, mate, they keep calling me a goyim. And I say, yeah, well, stop acting like one. Stop acting like you don't want to get called a goyim. Stop acting like it. And I mean, if you want to know who a truther is, mate, it's these Ashkenazi Jews, Ashkenazi mafia, these bastards. They're big truthers. They're telling us to our face that we are brainless cattle. And they're truthers, mate. Because up to this point, up until this Great Awakening started, that's exactly how we were behaving. Like brainless, bloody cattle. And look at the ones lining up for vaccines, and look at the ones who believe in corporate media. So if you don't want to get called a goyim, right, don't act like one. That's my advice. That's truth. That is truth. Okay. I want to go through, if we're going to get out of this, right, there's a lot of things, but JFK, and I'll refer to a couple of times, because I think he was a smart cookie. I think he was a smart cookie and a visionary. But JFK said something along the lines of this. He said, look, the problems of the world can't possibly be fixed, right, by those cynics, those haters, those doubters out there. They have got no chance of fixing anything, because their thinking is retarded. Their thinking is retarded. It's limited. It's limited. The same thing with those people that are full of hatred. They can't see the wood for the trees. Okay, so my advice is don't go to these people. They're limited in their thinking, and they have no remedy. They've got no vision. What you need to talk to and look for are the crazy ones.
We found them.
Got a room full of them here today. It's us, mate. It's the crazy ones, the ones who are the visionaries, the big picture thinkers, who can see through the small, siloed thinking. All these other retards that are out there, and I'm not saying that to physically denigrate it, I'm trying to describe who they're thinking. Okay? They're retards, and I've met a lot of them. Okay? So, it's up to us, mate. It's up to us visionaries, us crazies, right? And because we're Queenslanders, we are accustomed to be called crazy. We're accustomed and used to.
Banana benders.
Yeah, banana benders and all the ridicule. All my life, we used to laugh at all these others that used to, put shit on us like that. It was water off a duck's back. We were proud of it. The deplorables. It was us. We invented the word deplorable because that's us. And we're now the ones on the ascendancy. And it's lovely. It's lovely. We're at war. I said we're at war. And if we're going to win this war, and we're going to make the most of it, right, we've got to stop thinking and talking like these bloody lawyers. Stop it. There is all this bullshit about that's illegal and that's lawful. And we've got to do this because there's a legal all of that's bullshit. Okay? There is no law and order in this country. None. There are utterly corrupt judges.
Yep.
Utterly corrupt. Not one, not two. All of them. We've got police forces running around, right? Law enforcement that just have no relationship to law. Most of them are on drugs. Tony Abbott done a urine sample. One of the things that Abbott, I think, was aware of, and he forced this issue, he got all the state forces and the AFP to do a urine sample, right? Testing for drugs. Over 65% came back positive. Crystal meth, speed, cocaine, and other drugs. And you want to know why these cops are so psychopathic about us? Why they're shooting us in the face? Why they're bashing us senseless and all that? Because they're all drug fucked. They're all high on drugs. Okay? You got me? They've weaponised these police forces. They've forced anyone with any conscience out over the last 10, 15 years. They forced them out. My driver down the back, Jurgen, ex-Queensland police officer, none of them will stay and work in that environment if you've got a conscience and if you've got any sort of responsibility to the people. They don't want you in there. And they've instead filled these police forces up with psychopaths, really bad actors, and now they've all got drug addictions. And they're feeding them. I mean, drug seizures and all that. They tax all of that. So we've got coppers. If you want to know, you're in a big ride, big confrontation. Pull their sunglasses off and look at their eyes. That bastard who shot that woman in the face with a rubber bullet in Melbourne, that photograph of his eye, look at his eyes, mate. Totally and utterly off his face, okay? So we have an entire law enforcement in Queensland which are drug addicted, psychopathic, with absolutely no empathy or understanding. They don't care. They hate our guts. Okay, you got me. Then we got the judicial. Okay, all pedophiles, all of them compromised. I got charged and convicted of a criminal charge down at the Cleveland courts. I had a great argument, man. Old communist stuff, so sneaky. We're shit lawyers, mate, but Jesus, we're devious. So I had a great little argument, mate, and had them snookered. And when the penny dropped late in the trial about where I was taking it, the magistrate jumped up and ran out the court. He ran out the court. He said, no, that's it, I'm going to go and make it. I couldn't even run my defence because he knew where I was going to go, and I snookered him. And he comes back and he says, 15, 20 minutes, I've had another look at that upload in Facebook and, with these threats, it's definitely you, Mr. Wilson. I said, how could you? The thumb drive's sitting here in the court. How could you have looked at it? It's sitting here in court. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. You're guilty. And I was gone for 2 years in jail. 2 years in jail, mate. That was the deal. The prosecutor, the judge, I'm gone. Until I had to play my last card, which was the references. Remember how I said the deep state? Remember how all those references? Well, that saved my ass. Because when I handed a couple of dozen references from chief magistrates, Ron Carl, Supreme Court judges, and big AFP police officers, all this stuff, when I handed it all up there, naval, all this, the magistrate shit himself. He said, "Dear oh me, what am I dealing with here?" And he said, I had printed out a photograph, right, and I had an A4 sheet. There was me, there was Commander Mark McConnell from HMAS Morton down here in Brisbane, and the Royal Australian Naval Chaplain, okay, 3 of us, and it was a photograph, and he said, "Do you know?" I said, "Yes, he's my friend." And he'd skippered for 3 years the Royal Yacht Britannica for Queen Elizabeth, okay? So this magistrate shit big square bricks. He was snookered. And your power is not what you got. You've got to understand it. It's what your enemy thinks you've got, okay? And I'm a pretty decent card player. Okay, I bluffed him. So he then said to me, "Look, if I give you a 3-month suspended sentence, 2-year good behaviour bond, no money, anything, is that okay with you, John?" I said, "I don't care. I'm going to appeal it anyway, pissant." And I should have. He was down. It was comedy. It was comedy, okay? But I was gone for 2 years. Now I want to make this point again. I'll come back. I've never asked for any help. Never. I did not ask for any assistance for any of this. I never asked for any donations. I never made it a public spectacle, okay? I went and dealt with it myself, unlike a lot of these other celebrity freedom movement people who are out there, okay? And I'm going to get to those because I'm going to give them a burn today, okay? I'm going to give them a burn. As I said, I don't care if you believe me. I don't. It's of no consequence. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I am giving you my thoughts from the heart, okay? I'm not here to argue with you. You want to pick an argument with things I say, piss off. Not right. I'm not going to waste my breath. I'm calling it straight. If it resonates, it does. If it doesn't resonate, that's all fine. Let's just walk away and leave it at that, okay? But I never made it a public spectacle. I never asked for any donations. I never went and got any lawyers. I'm a wealthy man. I can afford whatever I like, okay? But I never did any of that. I went and dealt with it myself, okay? And afterwards I only done one interview. That was Ricardo Bosi. Ricardo asked me, he found out what happened to him, rang me, said, "How'd you go?" And I told him, he said, "Look, can we talk about it on camera?" I said, "Yeah, sure." He probably the only one I trusted at that stage. But I went and done it. Compare that with everything else that's going on in the freedom movement and these confrontations and court cases and all this other bullshit, okay? I just simply say, you've got to stop talking like lawyers, thinking like lawyers. There is no legal remedies. There's none. There's none of these courts, just like there's no political remedy. You've got three arms of our makeup. You've got the legislators, Parliament. Then you've got the judicial, okay, which is your courts, and then you've got your military. And so far, two of the three have been hijacked. It's been hijacked. It's owned by overseas interests, okay, and utterly corrupted. And I'll come to the military lastly, because they have also been corrupted, but not utterly corrupted. Not utterly, okay, but they've been corrupted. Could I get you to take that off? I'm a bit of a spastic, mate. Thank you. Most of my best friends are spastics, crazies, lunatics.
You're in good company, John.
Yes, that's why I'm here. Okay, the Queensland Police, let's just talk about them. Like I said, they're gone. They're gone. my discussions with some serving Queensland police officers and ex-Queensland police officers, and this was put together by Jürgen Holzler, my driver, ex-Queensland police officer himself, and he said, look, we've got to talk to some of these guys and put them to one side. And we sat down, mate, and we put all the cards on the table. No bullshit. And in a private conversation that went for most of the day. The upshot of it was this, our discussions. The Queensland Police Service, like New South Wales, like Victoria, like Western Australia, right, all the same, are rotten to the core. They are gone. They cannot be fixed. They can't be, okay? They are so bad, so corrupted, where they're a criminal syndicate. That's what they are. They're drug running, they're child trafficking, they're benefiting off them. Okay, if they're not directly doing it, they're benefiting off it. They're protecting, institutional pedophilia. They're running cover for other criminal actions. Okay, we have got a law enforcement agency here in Queensland which is so corrupt, so rotten, and so owned by other factions and forces outside of the people, right? It can't be fixed. It can't be fixed. So then we spent the next half of the day going, well, what are we going to do about this? And I'll give you the upshot is this. We believe that the only way forward with straightening this shit out is to do two things, run them in parallel. One is to sack every single employee in the Queensland Police Department. Sacked a lot of them. They're clerks, they're cops, they're fingerprinters, the lot go. Detectives, commissioners, everyone. Sack and get rid of the lot, right? Shut them down. Decommission the Queensland Police Department. At the same time you're doing that, okay, you run elections for regional sheriffs and deputies, okay, at the same time. Okay, so you'd have a sheriff of the Gold Coast, and the sheriff would have, who would be answerable to the people of the Gold Coast, right? Who would have appointed deputies, okay, and they would be backed up by a local trained militia. And that militia, okay, would be able to be deputised and become full law enforcement officers, and that's the call of the sheriff. So what the remedy we believe is decommission the entire Queensland Police Department, take all their funding, all their weapons, all their guns, all their badges, and fuck them off. Get rid. I'm sure if you go and ask our beautiful lady friend who's sitting up here in the watch house on a trumped-up bullshit charge, you go and ask them, that's what we're up against. That's what they arrest you for nothing. Nothing. They then they game the system and give you bail conditions so that you can't go back and exercise your lawful rights. That's how they get around it. They're so bad, man. They are a criminal syndicate. Criminal syndicate. And right now, they are the enforcers of the World Economic Forum. They are their enforcers. They are nothing but thugs. Drug-fucked thugs with guns and badges. We're all coming. They gotta go, mate. We've got to shut them down, and we've got to take the monolith, okay, this centralisation of power, and we've got to split it up. We've got to fragment it, and we've got to make it answerable back to the locals. Okay, so what we do is we have sheriffs, deputies backed by local militia that can be deputised at a moment's notice by the sheriff, okay, and they're answerable locally, and they swear an oath to protect the Constitution, not the Queen, not all this other nonsense, to protect the rights and responsibilities contained within the Constitution. Now that's another discussion, because the constitutional side of things is another big topic. But I'm talking the conceptual wise, okay? We got to clean this shit up, mate. Now, if you want to put the frighteners with the police, I know, welfare checks and blah, 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 but if you really want to put the frighteners with the police, go and get 10,000 people opposite Roma Street, all not protesting, demanding that the police get sacked, demanding that they sack the lot of them. They no longer have the confidence of the people of Queensland. We want the lot sacked. The cops, the head honcho, Freemasonic cops, think we've got nowhere else to go. That's what they think. They think that we, as Queenslanders, would never give up, right, having some law and order here. We've got nowhere else to go. But we've got an option. We have an option. And if there are any good cops, and there are still some, right, what we say to those good cops, right, you're going to get sacked, come over here, stand for election as a sheriff, okay? So we do have experienced law enforcement officers that we can take out of the system and then relocate that resource and give them a new set of responsibilities. And providing they're fair dinkum, providing they're competent and so on, right, there's nothing stopping us to do that, okay? Now I believe that's where we should be taking any discussion with the cops, mate. Forget it, okay? We got to start demanding that they get sacked, and that's going to put the frighteners in. Take a seat, though. Take a seat. Okay, that's the police. We'll move on a couple more. Can we talk about the freedom movement a little bit? Okay. Look, like I said, I speak my mind. I speak my mind, mate. You heard of Ricky Gervais? Yeah, well, you're dealing with him, mate. That's what you did. It's okay. You'll never ask me back. I don't care. That's who you're talking to today, right? Look, let's talk a little bit about the freedom movement, and I don't want to get into personalities just yet, but I want to talk in broad terms about the principalities, right? Look, it seems to me within the freedom movement we've got this sort of grouping, right? We've got those that believe that the remedy is in getting our sovereignty back, those that believe by constitutional means, and then there's those that believe that we should protest until we get something like fix a few problems up, elect a few freedom candidates, wind back a few of these oppressive laws, etc., and then we all go back to normal. We all then submit back to the system, okay, with those changes, okay? Now, I look at that and I say, well, that's not what I'm fighting this war for. That's not what I'm doing here, okay? I ain't begging for another 2 or 3 foot of chain. I'm not doing it. I ain't begging these bastards for them to loosen the chain around my neck a little bit. I want to get this chain off my back and wrap it around their neck and choke the living shit out of them. Then we got those that say, let's talk about jurisdiction, right? They say that the solution is to opt out of the jurisdiction, right? Through some very smart work, lots of hard work. I mean, it's very difficult to wrap your mind around it and school yourself, but it can be done where you can become a living man, and you can, not be subject to their jurisdiction, and therefore the tax department and the councils and the state governments and all this shit doesn't apply to you, and you're free. Okay, you're free. And it's been put to me, John, that's what we should be doing. And I was like, what? Is that the solution? Is that what you're saying? Well, let me tell you, in February of this year, had I had my jurisdiction, had I been outside of their jurisdiction, okay, had I been, now none of this applies to me, would that have saved my life when they were trying to drown me with weather geoengineering? Is that going to help? No. Is it going to save you from chemtrails? Is it going to save you from fluoridisation in your water? Is it going to save you from, direct energy weapons and massive bushfires? Is it going to save you from, poisons and all this other? We're at war. They want to murder us. They are murdering us. Removing yourself from their jurisdiction will only hasten and incentivise them to kill you quicker. You got me? So I've said, stick that up your ass. Sure, it feels good. 50 years ago, that would have been a real option for me, right? 50 years ago, because they weren't trying to murder us back then. They were trying to kill us, but in other ways, right? But 50 years ago, you probably could have lived your life and died in peace and thought, you know, okay, I've got these monkeys off my back a bit, but not now. Not now. We're at war. They want to kill us. They want to enslave us. And any jurisdictional, manoeuvres and tricky little, smart little thing, forget it. I mean, it's not going to help. But the second thing is this. I say to these people, what are you asking me to do? You're asking me to remove myself from their slave system, but to leave everyone else behind. Is that what you're asking me? What about these disabled kids and elderlies that are in aged care home? Those 300,000 or 400,000 elderly, they can't possibly wrap their minds around this. They can't. These young kids, they can't possibly do this, right? So you're asking me, right, to save myself so I'm okay, but to fuck everyone else. No, I'm not interested. As an old communist, I mean, the General Secretary, the longest serving General Secretary of the Communist Party here in Australia was a guy called Laurie Aarons. A Jew. We'll come and talk about Jews as well. But Laurie was my mentor, right? And Laurie used to say, look, John, don't ever get comfortable. Don't ever get comfortable and forget about where you come from. He used to say, whenever you get a nice comfy pair of shoes, he said, go and get a real sharp rock and drop it in the bottom and keep walking on that sharp rock so you know how hard that road is, and you know how hard the road is that everyone else is walking on. Don't ever forget where you come from, okay? So, being an old union lad, our mantra was one in, all in. It's one in, all in, or one out, all out. That's how we used to run this. I'm hardwired that, if I can't get my freedom, right, okay, my freedom depends on you getting your freedoms. You understand? So I'm not interested in any smart little legal manoeuvrings and, language and all this shit. Go away and tell some other clown. If you think that's the solution, one, it's not going to protect. They're going to get you anyway. They're going to get you anyway. And two, I don't want to save myself. I want to save humanity. You got me? I want to save humanity. Now, if I've got to pay a price for doing that, I'm willing to do it. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm already a criminal. Right? At the age of 60 times zero. I never had a speeding fine, parking fine, nothing. The magistrate got my record and he looked at it and he said, you own no assets. I said, yeah, they're all in family trust. You can't get them. They're all locked away in trust. I've got a lot of it. He said, you got no charges? I said, nothing, right? I said, I should have been charged and criminalised about 200 times, but it's not what you know, it's who you know, Your Honour. And he said, you've got no criminal, nothing. And the prosecutor is saying, 2 years in jail. We've got to make an example out of him. He's shaking his head. He said, oh, well, you've got to go 2 years. Sorry, that was the deal. We've got to set you up. You're going, us, you, man. I was gone. And then I played my last card. And that's what saved my miserable ass. Probably the big man upstairs as well. But I'm not interested, mate, in opting out of the system. I want to fucking rip it to pieces. Because I want to ask you this, right? Okay? Look at the body of work. I don't mean him or her. The whole body of thousands of hours of research by Romney Stewart, by Wayne Glue, Mike Holt, all the rest of them. Right? It's been a couple of dozen of them, right? And I'm not picking on them and praising one over the other. I don't care. I'm not trying to go down that track. I'm just simply saying, look at all of the evidence that they put up collectively. And what does it tell you? It tells you that the governments are fraud, political parties are fraud, the councils are a fraud, the courts are a fraud, the laws are a fraud, the taxation's a fraud, on and on and on it goes. A lot of this Freemasonic institutions are fraudulent, they're illegal, they're unconstitutional, they are slave enforcement systems. Now, if anyone thinks winning this war means that I cop some consolation prize and then resubmit back to that, knowing what I now know, forget it. Okay, it's not going to happen. I am never going to submit to child rapists. I'm not going to do it. No, I don't care. Not going to do it. But you've got those in the freedom movement. Those in the freedom movement, right, they're asking you to do exactly that. I mean, I've listened. And again, I'll call these people out, mate. I'm not frightened of them, mate. Don't frighten to me. I called Dan Andrews' wife a tranny, mate. You think I won't go there? I'll go. But listen, you've got people like Graham Hood who says publicly, if I can get the mandates lifted and I can fly to Western Australia and see well, that's fine by me. That's all good. And I'm saying, what? Is that your claim, is it? Okay. Then you've got others out there who are saying, freedom, we are free. Then you say, well, what does that actually mean? No idea. All shallow bullshit. It's just a mantra with no meat and potatoes. It's just words. And their idea of freedom is not mine. You understand? Now listen, I didn't put the bet on the table. I didn't start this bloody war. I did not start it. You didn't start it. We didn't start the war, and we didn't put the bet on the table. The bet on the table is for all the marvels of humanity. That's what the bet is. It's all or nothing. Winner take all. Winner take all. The cabal, these bloodline families, the Vaticans, these bankers, all these other pieces of filth, Freemasons, Jesuits, law. Their bet was to enslave humanity in its entirety and then murder billions of us. That was what they have on the table. And if they win, that's their prize, if they win. Now, if we win, right, okay, we take the lot back. All our stolen wealth, all our hidden technologies, all these field systems, these patents, all this stuff that they have kept from us, stolen from us. We take all of that back. It's winner take all, okay? We didn't put the bet on the table. We didn't start the war, they did, okay? But if we win it, and we're gonna, we should take the lot. If I play a game of poker, you're gonna play a game of poker with me, right? Okay? And you say, right, I'm betting $500 on that hand. And I can look at my hand and I say, okay, I'll put $500 and match your $500. So I'll call you. What do you got? And if he lays down 2 kings and 2 tens, and then I lay down 2 kings and 2 jacks, okay, and I win that hand, he put the bet on, I call the bet, okay, then I want everything that's on that table. I want the lot. I want the lot. You can't say, oh yeah, you won the hand now, there's $50, I'll take the rest off the table. No, mate. This is for all the marbles here. And when we win this, humanity and Australia, but humanity is going to be on a whole new plane. We are. So look at these freedom fighters. Look at them all. The whole lot of this movement has been infiltrated. The whole lot of it. Serious. They're either infiltrated, they're either Freemasons. That Mac down in Sydney are corrupt Freemason. And then you've got these clowns up here, who then, the millions march, who then invite him up here as a guest speaker. I'm shaking my head saying, what are you doing? You're inviting a sticking Freemason up as a keynote speaker. What's going on? You got that idiot Tricky, okay? Tricky. I was involved. I was asked to speak at one of the earlier rallies at the Botanical Gardens, right? As the ex-president, a national trade union, very, very experienced at public speaking with hundreds, 50,000 people, very experienced, very connected, knew what I was talking about. And that morning was reading a Vatican publication with photographs where you had Pope Frank, and then you had Sharon Burrow, former president of the ACTU, and you had Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, all tied in together, all planned, all part of the one economic reset, the Great Reset, okay? And my point was, the unions are sold out, right? But when I got up on stage and was articulating that, and I said, look, the Australian unions aren't just selling you out, they've been part of the planning to do all this, right? And Sharon Burrow, former ACTU president, and she's hanging out with Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. And as soon as I said that, Tricky Dicky with his $250 bloody perm raced out on the stage and said to me, don't talk conspiracy theories. I've been following the trade unions all my life. Now, right now, the former president of the ACTU, Sharon Burrow, who is now the secretary of the International Confederation of Trade Unions, headquartered in Brussels, she is an annual participant at Davos, an annual participant and active participant with the World Economic Forum, and now, yes, she is. She co-chairs meetings, and she's been doing that in recent years. This is not a new thing. They've been setting us up for this betrayal for a number of years now. A number of years. They are not a passive player. Now, Sharon Burrows is now participating at the instigation of Lynn Forrester Rothschild, the Rothschild family, at her invitation with the Vatican, the Antichrist Pope, the Antichrist Pope. Sharon Burrow is now participating in what they call the Council of Inclusive Capitalism. Okay. And the head honcho is calling us conspiracy theories. I looked at him and said, my God. I mean, listen, if you want to know about infiltration of political movements, come and talk to dear old John Wilson, man. I am a pro. I'm an old communist, mate. I'm the only man. My Aborigine friends in Alice Springs, I lived up there, they said, geez, you're a sneaky bastard, you old communist, John. I said, yeah. And they said, yeah. They said, you're the only man we know that can sneak through a gins camp without the dogs barking. They said, we can't even do that. So if you want to know about infiltration, right, if you want to know about hijacking movements, derailing movements, come and talk to me, mate. I'm a pro. Again, in the union movement, how do you think we make sure the communists, how do you know, we were never infiltrated in the unions. Why? Because we were the infiltrators. We could spot them a mile off. This pissant up here, Tricky, mate, he will not talk about institutional pedophilia, child trafficking. He will not talk about bloodline families. He will not talk about the real happenings of what's going on. He won't. Instead, he bangs drums and cries freedom. I mean, it's just bullshit. And now the numbers are dropping off more and more and more. People are walking away from this, sick of it. There's so much sense of it, right? And he's crying about that, but if you want my view, that's all deliberate. It's all deliberate. wear yours down, take your money, bleed yours dry. Okay, and we'll move on. Dave O'Neill's, okay, Hoodie, okay. I mean, all these pricks out there, all these celebrity freedom fighters, okay, they're all celebrities. You know, they have a court case, oh, it's a big, massive, you know, we got to collect a few $100,000, blah, blah, blah. And we'll go and set a big court priest. Meanwhile, old Commo John gets criminally charged, doesn't say a word, goes in, just thumps her, kicks her in the head, cocks it on the chin, doesn't publicise, doesn't make a spectacle of. This is just piss-hand shit to me. Just piss-hand shit. I asked nothing from nobody. I handled it, okay? I don't want to be a celebrity. I am not a Christian soldier. I am a mercenary of God. I'm a mercenary. I don't want to be So be careful with all these clowns, mate. I've told you, and look, I think there's genuine people. I mean, you know, Romney Stewart. I mean, I know Romney, speak Romney. He's as straight as they come, really is. But his remedy is no remedy. Okay, it's not my remedy. Okay, Wayne Glue over there. What he's saying is right. It's right. But what does it mean for us? It means nothing. I mean, no good talking about a constitution when the entire upper class don't care about the constitution, just want to kill you and shoot you, jail you and poison you. Well, what's the constitution going to do? You got me? So I'm not saying that some of their arguments are invalid. I'm saying they're probably technically right, all the rest of it. But is it any value? Is it any solution? No. And then you've got the others in the protest movement. This is the mass protest. I mean, look at Canberra. I went down to Canberra, right? I got down there. It was organic. It started organic. Okay, it was great. I mean, from what I understand, the initial people who went there, it was organic. Now up here in Brisbane, Tricky and his dicky mates and all the rest of them, they weren't going to go, no, that's bullshit. We're not going there, that's fucking stupid. Who gives a shit what they do down in Canberra, until he realised how viral it was going to go. And as soon as he realised how viral they got it, what happened? A busload of these stinking grubs, mate. Hoodie, O'Neill's, Tricky, and a whole lot of others went down there, set up a whole big sound system at the bottom, and split the movement. Split it. Yep. Shut it down. Killed it. Killed it. You got me? Yeah. Now tell me that what their mission was when they went down. For nothing else but to shut it down. Derail it. Okay? They turned it into a rock concert. That's what they did. People went down there looking for solutions, looking for information, all that. And when I got down there, they were entertained and dancing. And I'm looking around saying, oh, they're all going to get massacred and they're partying. I said, Jesus, give me a pound of what they're smoking. I'm serious. I'm looking at them all partying on. And I'm saying, oh, they're all getting poisoned, murdered, locked up, bashed, kicked, raped, all that. And they're partying on. I thought, oh, wow, give me a pound of that. With Bosie and a few of the other, staunchies, right? They cooked us. They cooked me. They even cooked my dog. I nearly changed his name from Trumpy to Hot Dog. I'm telling you, man, he was sick as a dog. I had all these people down there, bloody in Canberra, saying, oh, what do you do, lovely dog? What do you call him Trumpy for? I said, because he likes chasing pussies. I'll go there. But I just want to say to everyone here again, I don't even like saying the things that I've just said about people. I'm not down here to slag and bag people. It really it drains my batteries, it's wasting my time, it's all of that stuff, right? But I need to say it. Someone has to stand up and bloody start saying this. You got me? I'm not a member of any political party, okay? Nothing. I owe no one nothing. I refuse to join any group, right? I refuse to. I don't need to. Last year I had 1.2 million views. I don't need anyone else's platform. I don't need anyone else. And in the freedom movement, it's a fact. I don't even like half the people in the freedom movement. And the other half don't like me. But the fact is, we've got to put all that to one side and work together collectively to win this war. And I know that. I can't get my freedom unless you get yours.
Yeah.
So my agenda is to help you win this war for your freedom. That's my agenda. I'm not looking at it from me, because if you win your freedom, automatically I win mine. And if you don't, I'll never win mine.
One for all.
You got it. You got it. Don't ever go to a union dentist, mate. Don't ever go to a union dentist, mate, because it's one out, all out. If you've got a debauched sexual life, maybe no teeth might be good. Who knows? Look, a couple of things. Look, I want to talk about where we're up to right now, and again, this is from my research, my connections, my information flow. Okay, it's not from someone else's. Now, it largely lines up with what Ricardo Bossi is saying publicly, right? But it's not. It's from totally different. So you got to understand. I don't hang around with pissant lieutenant colonels, man. I don't. I hang around with brigadiers, mate. They're all. When I was president of the Labour Council, I had over 300 union members at RMC Duntroon, Royal Military College Duntroon. And when I used to go down to the Duntroon down there, I used to be the only person allowed to meet and talk was the brigadier, the chief commanding officer. And he'd take me straight down to the officers' mess, and we'd eat lobster and drink beer and all this sort of shit, right? All Freemasons, I'm telling you. So I don't normally deal with real fighting men, right? I deal with all the real ones that run the show, okay? But Ricardo, his sources, his analysis, everything is lining right up with mine, okay? And I want to tell you what mine is saying, which has got Ricardo. And look, let me just talk about Ricardo, right? Look, normally I would never even dream to hang out or talk to a Special Air Services Roman Catholic pissant, Special Air Services officer. I would never hang out with someone like that. I'm telling you. But I want to tell you this about Ricardo. Two things. There's lots of things I could say, but the two things that has given me confidence in him as a man and his mission. The first one I want to say is I'm aware that Ricardo is a husband. He's got a wife who's very sick. She's got a life-threatening illness. She's got multiple sclerosis. She has violent shaking and tremors and all sorts of things. Ricardo Bossi, as a husband, picks his wife up, takes her to the toilet when she's having attacks. He wipes her ass. He picks his wife up, takes her, he bathes her. He dresses her. Now, any man that does that for his wife is a real man. He's a real man. I respect that. I really do. I've been married 33 years, mate. I respect loyalty. I respect that. Big time. I don't care what he's done with bullets flying and commando. That's all just shit to me. But being loyal to your wife like that is a big, big deal for me. Okay? The second thing, in Canberra, there's a guy called Adrian John Wells. Okay, now I've spoken to Adrian earlier, right, a year or two earlier, and I forget who plugged me in with him, but I spoke to him at length a couple of times to get his story, and it was horrific, mate. He's been butchered, parts of his body cut. He's been shipped around by Australian Air Force personnel into paedophilia rings. He's been handed around, used, abused, etc. Scott Morrison was involved and many others. And he's a very damaged man, very damaged man. But is he lying? No, no. I mean, I'm the second longest serving inmate as a child, a juvenile, in the state of Queensland, in the worst institution this country has ever seen, Westbrook Farm for the Boys up here in Toowoomba, right? The worst institution in this country. Dear old Commo John was the second longest serving inmate there. Only one other served longer than me. His name was Dave Gabbett, and he raped and murdered a girl at Mount Tipper Garden in the Glasshouse Mountains in the early 1970s. So he spent a bit longer in there than me, but after him it was me. Now I know damaged kids, I know. I've seen them come through the boys' home. I've seen rape victims, I've seen abuse, I've seen sort of satanic guys, the young lads, teenagers who have been systematic. So I'm not a stranger to this. So when I spoke to Adrian John Wells, despite his damage, massive damage too, okay, despite all of that, it was crystal clear in my mind, mate, that this guy had a photographic memory and everything he was saying down to the last detail was true. Now, the second thing I sort of worked out was that he was radioactive, too hot to handle. I mean, I said, how the hell can I touch this guy and help him? Man, he's got, his story is so horrific. Who's going to believe it? I mean, I do, but I can't do anything with it. He's too hot to handle. And I told him that. I told him, I said, look, Adrian, I'm sorry, man, but there's nothing I can do. Now, I get to Canberra in front of tens and tens of thousands of people who got him up in public, Adrian John Wells, and gave him a voice. It was Ricardo Bosi, man. It was Ricardo Bosi. With everything to lose. Everything to lose and nothing to gain, gave this victim of this sexual abuse, this massive crimes, a voice and stood beside him. Now I applaud Ricardo for that, man. That was a gutsy move, man. A gutsy move. Everything to lose, nothing to gain, and yet he did what was right. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other stuff I can say about Ricardo, right, on different things. I owe him nothing. I'm not a member of A1. I'm not a big mate of his. I didn't go to the armed services. I'm an old communist. I never would have spoken to this pissing. You got me? Never. But do I respect him? Yes. I respect him as a man, a husband, a father, a family man. He's got the goods. I respect him in his preparedness to do what's right in the face of everything that would tell him not to do this. He did what was right. He gave this massive victim, he gave him a voice. And after that night, he then took him over to the Queen Anne Hotel with all of the other A1 people, and they all had a big group meal together, and he took him in and gave him comfort and camaraderie and friendship. And I take my hat off to A1, all those people in A1. A1 seems to attract the most decent people, okay? And I think that's all because of Ricardo Bossi's shadow that he casts, okay? That's good. That's good.
Good morning, Brisbane, Queensland! My hometown! My hometown! Good morning, everyone. 2021, the year 2021, the year of the absolute betrayal of the people of Queensland and the people of Australia. Have we been betrayed? But if they sell us out like sponge cakes, do we really care? Hey, True Blue. I miss our old mate. I miss him a lot. What have we learnt about Anastasia Palaszczuk in 2021? What have we learnt about her? Well, I'll tell you what I've learnt. I've learnt that you can put lipstick on a big fat globalist pig, but they're still a big fat globalist pig. I don't care how you chop and dice it. I don't care what lipstick you put on. She's still a big fat globalist pig. The same person that wants to track and trace every one of us, but refuses to put a pedophile and sex offenders register together. The same bloody person. What does that say? What does that tell you? What does that tell you about that big, fat, globalist pig? What does that tell you?